Okay, so here is one of my sprayed papers, and then I usually, well, not always, but most times, kind of smoosh it up a little bit, soften some of the edges. And let's see this one here. This would dry with a puddle in it, but I just want to soften it so that it's not quite so harsh in its puddling and its lines. Oh, kitty, okay. Let's see, and this one too. And this is also why I call it my finger painting technique. Does it stain my fingers? Yeah, a little bit, but nothing that doesn't go away. Okay, now I just let them dry and do some more. Okay, now these are the same few papers that I just showed you, and I just turned them over and sprayed the other side. And once again, I'm just gonna smoosh out the puddles a little bit so that it's a softer dry. And then see where these overlap? They will actually wick each other, and it shows a little bit of an edge, so I'm gonna soften that. And then the papers that are underneath, I actually let those dry and cut them up in approximately about the same size and use those in my projects too, because it's great big, oh, what do they call it? Like presentation paper where you would write on it, like in a meeting of some sort. So yeah, off to do just more, and I'll show them to you when they're dry. Okay, so here we are with everything all nice and dry, and I just wanted to show you quick what everything looks like with my little technique. So these little book pages here they originally were kind of yellow. Here it is. It came out of this little book here. So I have this little journal, and what it has these little signatures in it, and I just kind of pulled the threads and pulled the middle pieces of paper out. And then these are like glued together, but the next signature, I pulled those papers out. So all it's left in most of this book is, you can see, it's just, I pulled most of the papers out already. Over here, there's still a few papers that are still there. So anyway, that'll leave this little book to be some kind of little altered book at a later date. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that so we can compare the color. So if you can see, is this? Yeah, that's white. So this is white. This was the ivory from the book, and then this is with the avocado dyed paper. Or avocado dye, yeah. Anyway, so this paper here used the pit primarily. I only had a few skins in there. I used mostly pits. As you saw in the beginning slides, I had the majority of them in the freezer, so I froze them fresh. But I also had quite a few of them that have been dried. We eat a lot of avocados. So when you do this, the pits are the pinker of the hue. When you do the pit and the skin, then it turns it a little more on the mauve side. And then when you do just the skins, it's a little more of a pinkish brown. So it just kind of depends on the combo. And also the paper that you're using too. Because like this here, this coffee filter is what I ran the avocado water through before I put it in the container that I have. And this turned out a much different color than the white paper did, because this was just a white coffee filter. So I'm not sure, you know, if it's, you know, just the tannins that are in different things. I didn't use any of the alum, which is what I usually use when I do my eco dye. But I don't know. So your results just have a tendency to vary depending on the papers. So anyway, this here is the little yellower paper that I kind of sprayed, and I just wanted to show you kind of the varying in colors and the difference between dipping it. So if I were to dip it, I wouldn't have quite the variation that I do. You can kind of see a little bit of the speckling where the spray was, and here where I actually probably blurred out a puddle. But I just like, I like a lot of texture and color variation in my papers, and that I found, I kind of found that technique by accident, but I just really like it. So you can kind of see. And then certain ones I did spray more than once. I think maybe this one, because it's a little more intense in its color. So I did spray this one probably twice. Isn't that cool though? You can kind of see the speckles and then where I blurred it out. So bring it closer so you can see it. I'm not sure with my lighting. I'm trying to use mostly natural light, but I do have a couple of lamps that are redirected to take away any shadows. So some stuff is really hard to photograph and catch on camera. Okay, now this piece here you can kind of see is much deeper. So this one here I did spray more than one time. And then I already showed you the filter. And then I have a piece of paper in here where the coffee filter, the one the coffee filter dried on, I did have it separate. Here we go. So this here is the paper that the coffee filter was sitting on while it dried. Then I went back in and I sprayed it. So you can kind of see where the saturation of color is, because it was exposed to the avocado water more than one time. So you can control the intensity that way. Now, that is one of the things and one of the reasons why I do the spray technique, because if you've ever done coffee dyeing or avocado dyeing, and you dip it into like a casserole dish and then you set it to the side and let it dry, the more you dip, the less intense your color becomes. And with this little spray technique, I'm not really doing that, and it allows me to have more consistent color for more of the papers. So that's one of the reasons why I do it this way too. So I did a lot of copy paper. Let's kind of skip through and show you the junk mail envelopes that I did. So these here are, here, let's move this stuff. Junk mail envelopes. And what I did is I sprayed, and then turned them over, spray, and then the glue here, try to stay in frame for y'all. The glue in here it comes apart really super easy. Now I didn't spray the inside of this because I actually have a tendency to cover that part up. I don't like the security color. I can't find white envelopes anymore now that they're all security minded with the information that's on the inside. So, and one of the things that's really nice when they open up like that is you can do more things with them. You know, you can treat them more like a piece of paper. Also, what I've seen our friend Betty do, Betty Calkins, Kelly's mom, is a lot of times she'll cut open her envelopes and then she'll have an envelope and then another envelope. So then when she puts them in her journals, the folded part goes directly into the signature where it's sewn, and then this piece is the bottom to this envelope, and this piece is the top to this envelope. So that's one way that you can sew the envelopes without having to hinge them in. It's one way of doing it. So, but I did a bunch of junk mail envelopes. Some of them have really big acetate windows. Some of them not so big. I like the big ones though, as you can tell. And every once in a while, you get lucky and you get an envelope that's got nothing on it at all. So, but these are my junk mail envelopes. Now, I might go back and spray these again. I mean, to compare them to white, they are definitely pink. But I don't know. I might just make them a little more pink because I still have some of the avocado water. I keep it in the fridge. Sometimes you can keep it for, you know, a couple weeks if you drop a little alcohol in it so it doesn't turn. But I find that you have to take it out of the refrigerator and let it come to room temperature so that it absorbs into the paper. So just a couple little pointers just in case. I don't know what you guys do with your stuff. Or if, you know, it might be old news to some, but new news to others. So anyway, I'm going to take some pictures of this and put it in the slideshow that's always at the end of my videos. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.